Clark.
And of course, just today, Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute.
Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here, she's made a cameo there, she was featured as part of this rollout here, featured as part of this rollout there, but is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo commercial since she has joined the WNBA?
60 seconds. That's all it took for 13,000 pairs of Caitlin Clark's Kobe 5 Protros to vanish from Nike's site, leaving empty carts, frozen screens, and a billion-dollar brand wondering how it backed the wrong horse for 2 straight years.
Nike just released a brand new commercial featuring Caitlin Clark and her new Kobe shoe that she released today. And I saw this commercial yesterday on social media. I thought it was so cool. There's a shot when she's in the locker room and she opens her eye and it like turns into what looks like a snake eye, but when you zoom in, it's actually the Kobe logo in her eye. And as you know, Kobe's nickname was the Black Mamba. I just felt like across the board, this commercial was a 10 for 10. And a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlin as much as they should. But I will say we have to give credit where credit is due. I feel like in the past month or so, they have been tweeting about Caitlin more. And then obviously with this shoe release, they made this super sick commercial to promote it.
Clark's first ever player edition Nike drop turned into a digital stampede. At 10 a.m. Eastern, the sneakers hit shelves. By 10:01, they were history. Resellers pounced, flipping the $190 kicks for up to $600, while fans posted videos of lines curling around Dick's stores like it was Black Friday in July. The message was loud. Clark doesn't just sell shoes, she causes micro-earthquakes in the sneaker market.
We went looking online to try to look and see how much was these shoes reselling for. So let's head on over to Google right now to pull it up. For those of you guys that might not have had got a pair, bruh. So I'm here to tell you, dog, Caitlin Clark shoes, I knew they was going to sell out fast. Now, these numbers that I'm about to show you here is fluctuating. They keep fluctuating every hour. So for those of you guys who might not got a pair, this is an update on how to get a pair. Now, I can't say shipping going to be the fastest on these third-party little sites, but man, so we quite essentially know that Nike released the shoe, right? Nike released the shoe this morning for $190. That was the going rate for the signature sneaker. Now, I'm here to tell you, as you guys can see right here on Google, just type in Caitlin Clark Kobe 5. StockX, currently right now, they're going for $345. On GOAT, they're going for $386. And Flight Club, you're looking at $375. Must mind you, these sneakers was just released a few hours ago.
But if Clark was an earthquake, Aja Wilson's launch looked more like an aftershock. Nike spent 2 years crafting Wilson's 01. Custom logo, family symbols, even a Super Bowl spot. The debut pairs did sell out in minutes. Yet weeks later, fresh colorways sat on virtual shelves for a discounted $114, quietly nudged by best price guarantee banners. While Clark's drop felt like a once-in-a-lifetime lottery, Wilson's restocks began to feel routine. Deadly words in sneaker culture. Numbers, however, were about to expose an even wider gap.
The long-awaited, highly anticipated Caitlin Clark player exclusive, not her signature shoe. Remember, they're not creative enough to think of that. But that should be coming out in a few months as well. But the player exclusive, they're starting to give it the push. This is the rollout. We got a clothing line coming before the holidays. Let's see how many resources Nike puts behind Caitlin Clark now that we're going to start getting some of her merchandise coming out, and fans are indeed excited.
Analysts call it Clarkonomics, an $82.5 million jolt to Iowa's economy just from her college games. In the pros, the Fever's ABC clash with the Liberty pulled 2.2 million viewers, 76% higher than last season's average WNBA broadcast. Pull Clark off the court and ratings crater by roughly 40%. She isn't a player, she's a tide that lifts every metric in women's hoops. So why did Nike treat that tide like a drizzle? A former insider finally broke the silence.
I want to show you two different charts here. One, your stock price since 2021. It is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions, their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. There is one who only rivals Caitlin Clark, and that is Angel Reese, and you do not have her. She is over at Reebok. I am so confused as to how you would be so invested in the WNBA for several years, and you have been doing great work to try to elevate and uplift that league and many of the athletes there. But this seems like you have convinced yourself that this needs to be an either-or conversation. And we never have an either-or conversation in the men's sports. You have like 10 signature athletes. Half of them don't deserve a signature shoe. And we figure out a way to market them. LeBron James showed up as the chosen one, and you have the chosen one. He got all of the marketing, and yet you still were able to figure out how to market Kobe as well. I realize tomorrow we are going to get a Kobe Protro, apparently. I haven't heard much about it. It's going to be $190. Very few people will be able to get it, and that will be about a year after you have signed her and after she won Rookie of the Year. This is so confusing to me. I am so perplexed. I wrote 2,000 words on it in my newsletter this week. Read it, but I didn't even send one last week because I've been sitting in a room like Beautiful Mind trying to figure out all of the stupid reasons why you might be sitting on your hands. Wemby got his Alien campaign less than a year after he had been signed, and he got a player edition shoe. I guess that you're doing that with Caitlin, but I'm so confused as to why you wouldn't be doing bigger campaigns with her. You finally put her in a Super Bowl campaign with 9 other women, and all respect to them, but none of them are moving the needle quite like she is. Your tagline in that was "You can't win, so win." One of the best explanations I can come up with is that you are wringing your hands and afraid to enter into this politically divisive conversation that has been co-opted by the media and pundits who are race baiting and doing all kinds of ridiculous things around women's basketball. You can't win, so win. You have the unicorn, the chosen one, the one who everyone wants to hear from, and you were just sitting around. Gatorade, State Farm, Gainbridge, Wilson Basketball have all figured out how to have a point of view with Caitlin Clark. Please, for the love of God, figure something out.
Ex-brand director Jordan Rogers blasted his old employer for fumbling the most bankable athlete since Michael Jordan, warning that every slow-walked release was another quarter of lost revenue. Nike's sudden remedy? A cinematic solo spot featuring Clark's eye morphing into the Kobe logo. An on-screen admission that the marketing pendulum had swung, but every swing leaves someone else off balance. Wilson's rise has been groundbreaking. 3 MVPs, back-to-back titles, and yet headlines now shout about her clearance shoes, while Clark's hand-me-down Kobe's crash websites. Interviews show Wilson bristling at Clark questions, and Time magazine comments fed Twitter storms over privilege, race, and respect. The rivalry isn't just athletic, it's cultural, and Nike found itself refereeing a conversation it never planned to host. Secondary market trackers clocked Clark's sneakers doubling in value within hours, while Wilson pairs hovered near retail, some even dipping below. Investors noticed the mismatch. Since 2021, Nike shares have slid nearly 30%. A slump analysts partly pin on sluggish women's basketball strategy. The boardroom math is brutal. Hype equals profit, reluctance equals red ink, and the hype shows no sign of cooling. Clark's presence alone lifted ESPN's WNBA ratings 14% year over year. Kids in tiny Indiana towns wear her jersey like a superhero cape, while dads line up at dawn for size 12 Kobe's. She moves sneakers, tickets, and televisions with the same effortless range she shows from the logo. Wilson's excellence is undeniable, but Clark's cultural velocity is something Nike can't fabricate, only chase. Which brings us to the inescapable conclusion. The market has spoken in bold, all-caps letters. Caitlin Clark is tomorrow. Nike finally pivoted before the window slammed shut, but the real scoreboard is every sold-out size 9, every record-shattering broadcast, every kid who now believes a 30-footer is possible. If you're riding this wave, drop a ball in the comments, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because the next Clark drop could disappear even faster than the last one.